All right, the time's come for us to turn our attention to the next construct. We've already done the vManage. Now, I haven't verified whether or not I can actually SSH to it yet, but I'm pretty confident that I can, and we'll go ahead and make the checks. Now, the next thing I want to do is going to be the vBond. Now, the vBond is going to be important, and a vBond is going to follow the exact same configurations that we did before, except in the VM, or the vManage, we used Ethernet 0. And for the vBond, we're actually going to use GE0/0, since that's going to be the interface that I want to use. It's going to be facing, again, out towards the internet. The other thing that we're also going to do is that, remember when we did the sd-wan settings and we configured it as being a part of the SDN fabric, we defined the vBond, and we said the vBond was 172.1.100.202. Well, this is the vBond. And the way that we tell the vBond that it is the vBond is that we're going to use the keyword local on the vBond assignment command. Now, we're going to go ahead and set this up pretty much the same way. We're going to do the time server. We're going to do everything that we did before. And the ultimate goal is to get it operational. Now, just as a verification process, the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to see, can I SSH into admin at 172.1.100.201? And yes, we can see admin that it's letting me connect. So I'm good to go there. So next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and do what we said we were going to do with regard to the vBond. Now that means I'm going to need to access the vBond from here. And from the vBond's perspective, I'm just simply going to go into System, and we'll do all of the baseline configuration that we did before. So host-name will be vBond1. I will say site-ID, we said was going to be 100 for everything that's in the internet. And I'm going to say system IP is going to be 172.1.0, and this is going to be 202 in my configuration. I'm going to specify my organization name of micronicslab.local. Sorry, forgot .com. So used to using .local in the data center labs. So micronicslab.com. The next thing I'm going to do is assign the vBond. So the vBond is located at 172.1.100.202, and you are the vBond. So we've got the name, the site ID, the system IP, the organization, and the vBond's configuration. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and say commit. The next thing I'll do here is go ahead and specify the NTP server will be located at 172.1.100.254. I wish to prefer it, and I want to use VPN0 for my configuration. I'll go ahead and exit out twice, and that'll take me back to system. I accidentally went out too far the last time. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say that my clock time zone is going to be America, New York, and we'll go ahead and just commit that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to VPN0 because that's the internet connection. I'm going to say IP route. Again, we'll put the quad 0 route into this for 172.1.100.254, and then I'm going to say interface, and it's going to be gigabit 00. Remember, spelling matters, the context matters. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say IP address 172.1.100.202/24, and I'm going to say no shut, and let's go ahead and commit all of this. Okay, so end. Can I ping 172.100.254? Can I ping my gateway? I sure can. Can I ping the jump box? I sure can. Now, one of the things I want to verify here is I want to go ahead and just stop this ping. And what I want to do is I'm going to go to the jump box and see if I can actually connect to the vBond. So in this instance, I'm going to ping 172.1.100.202. We should have reachability. We've already verified it from the other side. But what about the SSH? Admin at 172.1.100.202. And what we're going to see here is it's not going to let me to connect. Now remember, I said that the vBond is different than, say, for instance, the vManage. And this is one of the differences. when we look at what's happening with the vBond, remember I said the vBond's job was to talk to other devices. As an example, the VEs, the virtual or the virtual edge devices. So when we look at what happens here, it does that through tunnels. So one of the things that we're going to need to do is we're going to have to go in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say allow services all to enable it. But it's going to be done under my tunnel configuration. And that's actually going to be a sub-configuration under the interface. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So from the perspective of the device, I'm going to drag this over so we can see if this actually does start working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my secure CRT configuration. I'll just drag this over. And remember, I'm under the vBond, so I'm going to say config. I'm going to say system. I'm going to say VPN 0. And then I'm going to say interface gigabit 00. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say tunnel interface, and I'm going to say allow services all. And what we'll do is we'll need to commit this. I'm going to just say and quit, and let's see if it makes a change in our attempts on the other side. So with this being done, I'm just going to go ahead and come over here quickly and close this config, and let's see if I can actually get it to let me in. And you'll see here, yes, indeed it is, admin, and sure enough, I'm on the vBond. Now remember, the only thing that we're resolving is reachability right now. We're not worried about adding things in because I can't add their controllers to the vManage server until such time that we've actually built all of the certificates, which is why I need a root security or CA server that's going to allow me to be able to do that. And that's actually going to end up being my jump box. And that's the beauty of this. It actually streamlines it. Now keep in mind that when it comes to setting up these secure certificates, normally that would be all handled as zero-touch provisioning as part of the Cisco offering. But remember, I'm doing this on-prem, and I'm doing this where every lab is containerized in an instance in EVE-NG. So I just want to make certain that everybody's ready, and everybody's good to go, and everybody understands exactly what's going to happen. So the last thing that we need to bring up is going to be the vSmart. And we will go ahead and get that implementation in place in the next video. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll end up spending some time talking about a little bit more about certificates and how to get them built. And again, I'll walk you through the process of building them in this lab because you're going to have to bake everything on your own inside of our topologies. Until then, I'm Terry Vinson. I'd like to thank you for learning SD-WAN with me.